I can't think of a more appropriate time to bake Dorie Greenspan's World Peace cookies. Earlier this year, Diane McMartin, a viewer, commented on a post of mine suggesting that I try the cookie. Diane makes it during the holidays every year, and she said the dough could be a little crumbly and finicky, but it was well worth it. Unbelievably, I already owned the 2002 book by Dorie, Paris Sweets. At the time, Dorie named this cookie the Korova cookie because it was a Pierre Hermé invention at the Korova restaurant in Paris. And later, when a neighbor tasted the cookies, they remarked that the cookie was so incredibly delicious that it could solve world peace. As if this wasn't enough evidence that I needed to bake this cookie, I went into my cookies file in my file cabinet and found a printout from the Splendid Table in 2006. This cookie had grabbed my attention, and yet I still had never made it. I began with the most recent Dorie Greenspan book, Baking from My Home to Yours. I converted all of the cups and spoons to grams, but then I noted that the Paris Sweets had already been written in grams. I love that. The desired outcome, a chocolate chip cookie, very dark cocoa with very little sweetness, buttery but a true sablé cookie. A sablé or sand cookie is crumbly. In pastry school, I was introduced to a chocolate diamante, which was very similar. In order to introduce as little air as possible, the butter and sugars are creamed on low. The dries are added all at once and pulsed until they are barely completely incorporated. In this special rendition, an enormous quantity of hand-chopped dark couverture is added at the very end. This is an icebox style cookie that gets wrapped in plastic, refrigerated for at least 24 hours, and then sliced at half-inch intervals. I baked the cookies at 325 for 6 minutes on parchment, then double panned them for 6 more minutes. Dorie's instructions say that the cookies will not look done at that point, so I trusted her and I pulled them from the oven and allowed them to cool. They were shiny from the butter. They held their shape. They were very dark and beautiful. The sandy texture is very delicate, so I waited until the cookies were entirely cool before I tasted one. Dorie Greenspan honed in on this recipe because of its simplicity and its impact. I ate 2 cookies without even realizing it, and I wanted more. So rather than keep this secret to world peace to myself, I wrapped up 2 of the logs and labeled them with baking instructions and a message. Dear neighbor, Happy New Year. May the entire world be happy, healthy, and peaceful.